Fala pessoal do e-SporTV, mais uma entrevista agora com o Elige, Jonathan Elige, que joga na Liquid. Se bobear, ele já tá entendendo tudo de português, porque olha, ó, deu uma risadinha porque entendeu. Então vamos começar a entrevista. Hi Elige, thank you for having us. Did you understand what I said?
Yeah, I understood basically like 98%.
That's so scary. How did you learn Portuguese?
I've just been learning it by myself. I've been using an app called Duolingo, and in my off time I would watch Portuguese streams, just like the players I like to watch, like any of the MIBR guys. Any word that I didn't know in the chat, I would just translate it, and then I would put it like in a note card app, and then I would just study it later.
How long has it been that you studied Portuguese?
I started in February 2016.
It's been a while, but it's a hard language.
Yeah, it's hard, and when you're playing so constantly and you're traveling constantly, it's really hard to always be focused on studying, so I usually just do it whenever I have time. Really.
Push it off,
Drop 2A1.
Matei.
Just one drop.
Muito bom.
Matei. Olha o Elige.
Smokei Olaf.
Nice
Não
mid.
escutei
One's
nada.
close mid.
Não escuto nada.
And let's start from the very beginning. How did you start off in Counter-Strike or any other game?
Well, Counter-Strike in general, the franchise, I got started from my brother. He introduced me to it when I was about 4 years old, actually playing like 1.5. Whenever I was a little kid, I would just watch behind him, because we only have one computer, so I would just be patiently waiting behind him, just watching everything that he does, and I'd just be waiting for my chance to play. So that's basically how I got into CS in general.
Probably that was the first game, right?
Yeah, I was
4 years old.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that that would become your job, your work, full-time job?
Back in the day, like when I was like a really little kid, I never even knew that people could do like esports like this. I mean, it wasn't as big as it was. In StarCraft War, really you could, where they actually had StarCraft on the TV. When I started playing StarCraft 2 in 2000, when I was 13 years old, I actually had aspirations to become a pro player. I was playing like super hard in that game, but eventually it just didn't give. So I just went back to CSGO because it's something I like to play. I just started DMing whenever I wanted to play StarCraft. I started playing more and more, and then I just decided to switch back to it. And I kind of just went through the ranks pretty quickly after that.
How were you like in school? Were you a good student?
Yeah, I was a good student, so I just did everything that I used to do. I always did my homework, I studied for tests, everything was school first, so I never had a problem with my parents at all. As long as my grades were good, which they were, I could do whatever I wanted.
Did you go to college?
I went to college for 1 semester, and then, because I was already in Liquid in the end of my senior year, so my mom basically told me that I couldn't stop college because I thought that it would be a little bit too overwhelming, and I really wanted to focus on CS. Like I had that type of talk, but it was before CS was really big. So she basically told me that I needed to go to college. So I was like, okay, I'll go to college. But I was already on Liquid, like I was already a pro player at that time. So when I actually started my first semester, I was undecided. I didn't know what I really wanted to do. So I was just doing like GEDs, but I was still doing full-time credits. I was doing 18 credits worth, which is 5 classes. But I ended up missing about half my classes and all of my classes because of just traveling to too many lands. Like, but I was like going to London, I was going to Sweden, I was going to all these places just back to back, and I had no time for school. So after that, I'm like, Mom, you know that I'm not going to do anything stupid to ruin my life. I think that this decision for me. I need to take this risk, and this is what I want to do.
And were your parents always supportive?
Basically, when I was coming into middle school / high school, it was better back then. When I was in elementary school, like a really little kid, my dad hated that I would play games. He would hide like my mouse and keyboard sometimes, and I would have to like fight with him. I mean, I didn't really enjoy playing sports that much, and I just had a good time playing video games. But as I got older, my grades kept good. It's just like I'm doing good in school, doing everything I can. Sports isn't really my thing. I just don't have fun doing that. So after that, I was able to do anything.
And if you weren't a Counter-Strike player, have you ever thought like, what would you do?
honestly, if I never like took that leap and I just went with school, I think I would be miserable. Because even right now, I don't even know what I would be doing. And even back then, it was even worse. Actually, after that semester, I was undecided, and I decided I needed to actually start working for something. So I was just going to go to computer science. But I didn't really like computer science. I was just going to do it just to do it. I mean, it really sucks because you can't really decide what you want to do in like 18 years old. So a lot of people have that struggle, and I was in it.
The invitation to join TUDO?
Well, I was actually already on invite team at the time. I was on Elevate. I think that they just saw that I was doing really well, and they thought that I would help a lot in calling, even though I was really young and inexperienced because I was kind of doing that on Elevate. So I kind of just started talking with Nitro, and it kind of just took off from there.
Do you see yourself in any other organization?
It's really hard seeing myself in anywhere. Like I've never been anywhere else really. It's an amazing organization. They give us so much, so it really is hard seeing myself anywhere else.
How is it like working with two Brazilians?
I think it does. Yeah, Elige doesn't have as much vision. They've thrown that very well, but Taco's gone aggressive. Catches them in middle. Elige wants to take advantage of that fact, and he's done so. Taco! Taco, baby! Let's do it again! Down goes Croman, and it's on the Guardian.
It's awesome, honestly. When SK, like that lineup was the best team in the world, I was a really big fan. I always watched all of their demos, like literally every demo I would watch, and I would bring strats back to my team really good. Like, guys, let's just do this new SK strat, like let's do this new LG setup or whatever. I would just have so many different things, and I always would try to talk with them whenever I could. I mean, obviously I was a little nervous, like whenever talking because I didn't really know them that well and all that, but whenever I did, they were always really friendly and kind, and it was just awesome. And I knew how they like kind of dealt with issues, and I always liked how they were just really upfront with each other, and they got things sorted out really well. And that's how you become a good team, is dealing with conflict well. And I think that's what Taco is really bringing to the team, especially that team environment aspect of knowing what they need to do to become a good team, having that experience. I mean, these guys are major winners. They know what they're doing, so it's great.
Is there any player in particular that you bring up playing?
Well, I mean, as I said before, I've always been a big SK fan, so anything with Cole or Fawn.
He's gonna stick it. He's gonna stick it.
Nice. Nice, good job. Aqui não, Elige. Aqui não. Qual é um bom anti-eco, Elige?
Panga pra mim, queda.
It'd be awesome. I mean, I love my team right now, but I mean, just as a fan, just because I've always been a fan with them, probably them. 2018
has been a tremendous year for Liquid. What do you think is your career high?
Well, I think, this year for sure is my career high. Like, we've never had such consistent results, being in so many finals, so many semifinals. Before this year, normal Liquid was getting knocked out in groups, and getting out of groups was an accomplishment, and getting to semis was, oh my god, unbelievable. Finals was out of this world for the events that we did. So for now, with the bars raised so high, not getting out of groups, that's awful. That's like almost like a team killer. Like, we need to be performing at this level, and all of the bars have been raised. Like, you can't just, we can't be making the same mistakes that we did back then. Everyone has that type of understanding now. So I think that now having much more expectations of each other and having much better results, we have really skilled players, the most skilled players that we've ever had on the team, the best iteration that we've ever had on the team. This is the career high right now.
And your career low?
Career low. I don't know, I think probably maybe beginning of 2017 probably wasn't that good. It was really stressful, all the things that were happening, we weren't having really good results, so probably that.
What is your major goal?
A major goal right now is to win a big tournament. We still have not had that. We've had really good results, really consistent results, finals, semifinals, but we haven't had that big win. So right now my biggest goal is to have a big tournament win.
Is that your biggest dream?
Biggest dream, like long-term dream, is to win like the hugest tournament, like winning a major, winning sometimes $1 million tournament like this, yes, EPL. But I'm fine with a 250K, a 300, 500K tournament like IEM Chicago would be great to win. So those are my goals right now.
What does it mean for you to be a successful person?
I think being at the top of your craft for many years is successful to me. Like I think Taco can definitely consider himself a success because he was on the best team for years. Like having that type of run. For me, like as a CS player, for me to consider myself successful, I want the Liquid era. I want to be able to have tournaments where people are like, oh, Liquid's in this, we lost. Like how people think with Straws right now. I want that to be us, and that's how I would finally consider myself successful in this current career.
What's your favorite tournament and your favorite play?
My favorite play, I'll go with that one first. My favorite play is probably the New York one. Honestly, my ace at lower, I think that was probably one of my biggest plays.
They've got to try and compensate for giving Liquid so much room and time to work with, but Elige, that accuracy is so good. That high sensitivity, and he makes it look so easy as he flashes over his own flash, and Elige is an absolute animal right now, as Venton will fall trying to pull back into the catwalk position. He stepped up in Cologne, and he's doing it now, as Lekro's gonna fall. 4 down, all at the hands of Young John. But with bomb down, Twist shouldn't go far from this position, knowing he's gotta save it, and here it comes.
One of my favorite tournaments because my family was there, so everything was just really great for that tournament. In terms of best tournament, I honestly am not sure. Probably one of the couple finals, but I don't know. I just don't have a favorite because we never won one specifically, so it's all been letdowns at the end.
If you could change one thing in your past, would you change anything? Or what would it be?
I mean, I would tell my past self so many different things, but of course it's always made me a better person and all that, but I think I would have told myself to get into reading a little bit earlier, just so I could learn from successful people more often. This year I started reading a lot more, and it really helps when you transfer ideals and values of really successful people in the world and you apply them to your own game and your own job. I think that actually helps a lot, and I think if I went back and I started doing that, I think I would have developed as a person more quicker.
Do you know what ELIJÃO DA MASSA means?
Just big Elige, right? It's
Yeah.
just like that type of augmentative thing.
Where did this come from? Where did it start, do you know?
I'm not sure the first time that it was said. I think it was probably in like a FPL game or something where maybe one of the LG guys or SK guys said something. I honestly have no idea.
Do you like it?
I think it's awesome. I love having those type of nicknames.
Do you have like do you love the fans, the Brazilian fans? Do you think they're different from other fans?
I do love the Brazilian fans. Whenever I stream, maybe like 80% of my chat is speaking Portuguese to me and like interacting with me, and I just love it because they're always saying something that's just really interesting and things that I can really react with, and I love practicing it too. It's really fun to be able to use it, and people encourage me too because they see that I'm using it, like, yeah, that's cool, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool that you're talking to me too. So it's been cool like having them on the journey and being so supportive of me. I love being a part of their community now. I feel like I'm a little bit a part of the Brazilian community, so I'm really happy that they welcomed me into it like that.
It's true. And where did Elige come from?
So when I was playing StarCraft, there was a player that I liked. His name was Select, and I was in Spanish class. I was taking a test, and one of the questions was like select from the following whatever, and underneath it always had the translation in Spanish, and it was like Elige and whatever in Spanish, and it said Elige, but it's really Elige, which meant select. So I just connected the two. I thought it looked cool, and I picked it.
Movies or series?
Series.
Hip hop or pop?
Hip hop.
California or Pennsylvania?
California.
Basketball or soccer?
Soccer.
Do you play?
I don't know. But I do like watching it whenever the World Cup comes on, really.
Neymar or Messi?
I'm not a big soccer fan, but Neymar, just because I like watching.
Yay! Cold weather or hot weather?
I like cold weather more, just because I think it's easier to get warm than it is to get cold. So that's always been my logic for that. I feel like it feels good if you're like cold and you go in and you get warm. But if you're hot and you get cold, it's like, I don't know, it's not as good.
Fallen or cold?
Cold.
Cold or Nico? Cold or device?
Device.
Device or simple?
So,
Soda or champagne?
I've never had champagne, so I'll have to go with soda.
Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter.
Have you ever blocked or muted a friend?
A friend? I mean, not recently. When I was little, I'm sure, just out of spite, probably some little kids stuff to do.
Do you rather get your dishes washed or get your bed done?
Probably dishes. I hate doing the dishes just because my hands get all wet and I don't know, I just hate doing it.
Train or cash?
Cash.
Você já comeu pastel?
Eu já comi pastel, assim, foi muito bem, com caldo de cana, gelado, foi muito bom.
That's awesome! You're a Brazilian. Basically, you're a Brazilian.
So this was e-SporTV. Can you like and subscribe our channel, and thank you for watching.
E aí, gente, adorei pra variar, Elijão da Massa pra vocês. Valeu, gente, dê aquela curtida, aquele like e se inscreva no canal.